the left-wing media has been interesting today in another way, and you referenced Portland, Oregon, but there's also Milwaukee, there's Chicago, there is New York, city after city in this country in which we watch violence, whether it's Milwaukee, Kenosha, Wisconsin, city after city, Democrat-led cities, as is, of course, D.C., with tremendous violence, death, and shootings. It's just stunning to hear how agog the left-wing so-called mainstream media is with what has been, up to the point at which they took over the Capitol, a remarkably civil gathering and demonstration. They lost their way when they got to the Capitol, obviously. Your thoughts on that? And the hypocrisy of the left-wing media, and as well the radical Dems.
Well, they're not used to us speaking out. I mean, when I wrote the book Inside Trump's White House, it's a bestseller in Japan and countries around the world, but it was blocked here in America, the second largest publisher in the world, and Twitter wouldn't allow it to be advertised. My life was threatened. My children's lives were threatened. Their names exposed, details about their lives exposed. People have kind of had enough. It's so now finally you're seeing people from Utah and Montana and Iowa show up in the Capitol. I mean, the news media is saying, believe what we're telling you. These are the same people who said that Joe Biden would win by 15%, and now they're saying, believe us, trust us, there's no fraud. I'm sorry. We're trying to get caught up a little bit here, and we don't believe you.
And obviously, millions of Trump supporters, and for that matter, Biden supporters, just astonished at the proceedings over the course of the past 8 weeks. Some believe, some disbelieve the charges of fraud. Many people, though, do not doubt their so-called lying eyes and want answers. Amongst those, surely some in that substantial crowd today. We have to get to the business of our institutions. Our courts have not been willing to hear cases in which evidence was being presented. They've denied it. Our Supreme Court has twice denied an opportunity to have stopped much of the irregularities and outright fraud that occurred in some states. The court has been cowardly here, in my judgment. Frankly, irresponsible. It is frustrating to these people to see what their media does. Blackouts of important news items and events and personalities that go without reporting. The putting forward the ideas that are left-wing or liberal, a culture that has moved decidedly left. They are, in some ways, those conservatives amongst those supporters, of which I would imagine to be most of them, have to wonder if they're going to be able to get sufficient oxygen in what will be a now democratic government in its entirety.
Yeah, I'm afraid, I hate to say it out loud, I'm afraid the Democrats are going to go for broke. They've learned the lesson from Reagan, they've learned the lesson from Clinton, they learned the lesson from Obama, and then again now with Trump, that they've got these first 2 years and that's it. So they're going to rush everything through. And those of us who fear the new socialism and what will happen to this country, you won't feel it on day one. You'll wake up the next day and everything will seem normal. But it's coming. The tide is coming, and it's going to be devastating. America's going to dramatically change for the worse.
Well, let's hope Americans have a way of creating the best from the worst.
Hope.
We have prevailed. We're resilient. We are more powerful than we're often given credit for or give ourselves credit for. I'm a believer in this country and these people. So I'm going to look forward to how this resolves itself, because we know in America these things do get resolved, and usually and hopefully peacefully. Doug Wead,
I like that,
you're a
Lou.
great American. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
If you want a litany of all the good things that Donald Trump did as president, get inside Trump's White House. It's the authorized version, the authorized account of the Trump White House. Great stories. You know, they text each other every day. So here's Melania and Ivanka and Jared and Laura, the great love story of Eric and Laura. You got to read that. And hide and go seek with the 9 grandchildren racing through the state floors and barons supervising. Here it is in Dutch, it's in Japanese and Korean and Chinese and all over the world. A great positive read of what our president accomplished in his historic years. Subscribe to this channel. It's the only way we know to defeat the censors. They change the numbers of views, they shadow ban, they throttle. The only way we've been able to try to get videos directly to our people is if they subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell. We're trying to survive this era of censorship, the new Soviet era of the United States.